am streaming live from YouTube as well as Instagram, giving this a whirl. So to give you a little bit of an idea before I get into kind of the commercials and things like that, I am attempting to do some eCam stuff because that's what everybody's asking for and everybody wants. So I'm trying to do more and more eCam live type stuff and do more conversational type stuff to go over a few things. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everyone's time, taking the time to come in here and spend some time with me. I am doing a giveaway on Vortex, Red Dot, Spark AR, Red Dot. So if anyone has any interest in that, please go to my last post and comment and tag. So a few people have kind of asked me and kind of wanted some insight into what that was all about. We're giving away a Spark AR Red Dot from Vortex. Really cool stuff. Vortex is kind enough to give me a Spark. So if you're not following me on the different platforms, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, all those different platforms, you'll be able to participate. So I'm trying this out. I'm giving it a whirl. Hopefully it'll give you guys some insight into the different things that I'm doing and the different platforms I'm using. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone who is coming on to YouTube and thank everyone who's coming on to Instagram, and we'll be posting this on Facebook as well. Thank you. So I'm going to go over a few things. Everybody hits me up constantly, and if you have any questions on IG, I'll answer them. Everybody, asks me kind of what supplements I take from Blackstone and what I use. I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to back into a few other things. So I don't have a guest, so I'm just kind of winging it a little bit, but I have some points I definitely want to get to. So for starters, I always use, everybody sees me post it all the time, the Glycolog. So I run the Glycolog 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night. I take about 9 pills a day throughout the time. Hello, Turkey, throughout the time of the day with my meals. I take the, what's up, Renegade? Recomp. This helps me stay as lean as I can be. I take this about 2 times a day. That's 1 capsule. And I take the BCAAs. So if you ever want to, BCAAs are a must. I think it goes without saying. What's up, Caldy? It goes without saying that they're a must. So if you're not taking BCAAs, you need to. If those are things that interest you, don't hesitate to, and I'll put the code in here, to use my code, which is, hey, what's up, Cody? Stone code. Let me pin this. What's up, Turkey? So let me just kind of go over this a little bit. Why did I choose Blackstone? Why does Blackstone make sense for me? Or why did I make that choice? So I've addressed this on a few lives and a few other times, and kind of Cody, what's going on? Cody, I set this up in the kitchen. So a few people have asked me kind of why I chose them and why it made sense for me. So a while back, PJ Braun, the owner of Blackstone, came to me and he said, hey, is this something that would interest you? Would you, be willing to kind of get back in shape? And this would be something that, you'd have some interest in. And I'm like, what do you mean get back in shape? I thought I was in great shape. So I took the opportunity to kind of take that challenge and see kind of where I was at. And it's been a wild ride. I've been down to Boca a couple times now and had the opportunity to kind of sit with them and learn a lot about the product over the last few months. And I've really enjoyed it. And I've had some friends use the products, and they've really had a lot of fun with them. So I keep my routine relatively simple. I try to keep a very simple routine. As I've gotten older, I've realized that I have to have simplicity in my life and have simple routines. But I ask, all you guys, I tell all you guys, I can't come to Turkey, I'm sorry. I ask all you guys that you need to have a routine you can stick to. And I think this is something Cody can agree with. I don't step out of bounds with my fitness knowledge. I don't proclaim to get up here and be a fitness guru, just like I don't claim to be a shooting guru. I just kind of give you guys the stuff that's worked for me and what makes sense for me. So a lot of things I'm going over are very surface area. Yes, I take branched chain amino acids. Yes, I take the glycolog. Yes, I take the recomp. I follow the protocol. I follow, the directions. There are other things that I do in getting into my routine a little bit that I feel make the most sense for me. Some of those include, whether it's AM cardio or PM cardio, depending on where I feel I'm at. Usually that consists of about 20 minutes of a walking pace or a stair climber, and usually that includes about an hour of weightlifting. And that weightlifting, I think Cody can agree, it's, we go at it, we go intense for a little bit, and then we kind of back off. We go intense, and then we back off. So I want to kind of just touch on that and just let you guys know that I'm always here to answer questions. I do the best I can to kind of answer you guys' questions and as, as a judicious manner possible. I don't have a million hours in the day, and I know I get DMs and hit up. So I come on here to try to, give you guys some insight into what I'm doing and what makes sense for me. So real quick, there are a few things that you have to have. You have to have a discipline. If you don't have discipline, nothing you take or nothing you do is going to work. So you have to have the discipline. The discipline is different from consistency in the sense that your discipline is what's going to get you out of bed in the morning. Your discipline is what's going to make you take the vitamins every day. Your discipline is what's going to make you eat healthy. Your consistency is what's going to drive you, wanting to be day in and day out consistent. You could be doing everything wrong and be disciplined and be consistent. You can be consistently wrong. It's your job along the way to target people like I've targeted, if you followed my journey. These SMEs are subject matter experts, as we call them, to help you clean up that process. So if you clean up that process and you target these subject matter experts, whether that's in shooting, whether that's in fitness, if you continue to do the same routines with the same person, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's like me saying, I go to the gym and I have nothing else I can learn and I'm good to go. Well, you're setting yourself up for total failure if that's how you live and that's what you do. You have to set yourself up for success. So the only way to set yourself up for success is to have the consistency, have the discipline, but also know when you need to inject those subject matter experts into your life to kind of get some knowledge. If you don't do that, it's the equivalent of saying, hey, Jay Cutler wants to work out, but I'm not going to go work out with him because I already know everything. So as you continue to learn going through your process as I have, whether that's shooting, whether that's training, all those things, you'll get better. And hopefully that makes sense to a lot of you guys. And if you're on my YouTube, I can take any questions. And if you're on my IG, I can take any questions as we go. But I really try to impart upon you guys that my whole life has been built around a consistent habit and having consistent habits. Not all along the way have they been the correct habits. Some of them have been the very wrong habits. But I think it's important to make sure that you have some level of consistency in those habits and getting better every step of the way. And when you're doing something wrong, or you're training wrong, or you're eating wrong, most of the time where I falter is the food. So I can tell you guys that most of the time where I make my mistakes is in what I eat and what I don't eat. So that's where I made a lot of my mistakes. So I can tell you guys that I'm human. That happens. It's going to happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. It's important that you acknowledge it, that you know it's there, and that you do the best you can to fix it. So that's my 10-minute rant on supplements and what's right and what's wrong and how to get into those good habits. You can take all the stuff you want to take over the counter or otherwise. It's not going to help you. Now, I also get an equal amount of questions, and this is my first time doing this, so I'm trying to give you guys as much as I can about how I got to where I am and how I kind of got to this place I'm at. We will be doing a Falcor broadcast. We will be doing a Falcor podcast where we'll be putting this out there to a couple, excuse me, couple different mediums, whether that's iTunes and a couple areas. So stay tuned. I'll get deeper into my story and the company's story and kind of how I got to where I am. But as many of you don't or may not know, I've been working around the firearms business for some time now, behind the scenes a little bit. What you see is not what you get. So I'm going to drop a bombshell on you. Instagram, social media is what people want you to see. It's the best part of their day. It's the best part of their social experience of that day. You don't see the highs and the lows and the struggle. And hopefully I'll be able to, whether it's through podcasts and different things I'll be doing, give you some insight into the struggle. I think the career path has been glamorized somewhat, rightfully so. It's a very fun job to do, and it's a lot of fun. But there's a lot of factors that came into play into me kind of getting to where I am, into doing what I'm doing right now with the company. I started out, working with a slew of brands, still work with some, on their media, their marketing, their development, their introductions, kind of getting into the market space. Years ago when I worked in finance and I had gone through police academy and done a few things, I was kind of inadvertently setting myself up to kind of come into this business a little bit, which I was kind of unbeknownst to me. I had no idea where I was going or what I was going to do. So fitness was always something that was there. It was always something that was near and dear to my heart. And I will tell you guys this, I've never seen a deeper parallel or deeper correlation between two industries than I do between the fitness industry and the firearms industry. And a lot of people, thanks Flex, a lot of people, don't understand. They say what's with all these bodybuilders getting into fitness, or what's with all this, these guys. I tell people this all the time. We need more people in the fight. We need more people that are willing to put their values out there, put themselves out there, push themselves out into that space. So I applaud, all these guys in different industries that are willing to support the 2A community, support the community that we love and we live in, and we should honestly welcome them with open arms. So I appreciate, all those guys that are doing that, and I think it goes without saying that it's truly important to have as many folks as we can have in this business. You have to look at it from a perspective of how we're trying to grow this. We need more bodies in the fight. We need more people willing to step up and willing to say, hey, I'm a proud firearms owner. I'm proud to own firearms. I'm proud to be a part of this community. The more people that step up and get in that fight, and the more people that are willing to do that, they make the picks look great too, Frank. I mean, there's no question that everybody's fooling themselves if there isn't a modeling component to it. At the end of the day, people buy with their eyes, and that's the biggest misconception that goes on in all things, whether it's the supplement industry, whether it's the firearms industry. You have to understand something. At the end of the day, you're all trying to appeal to the end user, to the consumer. So with that being said, I don't shy away from that. I don't for one second say that that's not the case or that's not what's happening. Everybody buys with their eyes. And thanks, Frank, for pointing that out. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Hopefully I can provide you guys with enough insight into this industry and into both industries, really, to be as real as I can be as honest as I can be, and be as straightforward, with you guys, the true, I don't like to use the word fans, because I consider a lot of you guys friends, a lot of you guys that have followed me and continue to follow me and continue to comment and continue to post and say something. It goes a long way. I appreciate when everyone, subscribes and likes, and there's not one person behind me. I have a few people that help me. As many of you have followed through the years, you see BCG Media out there. John's been a huge supporter and helper of mine. I've had, many folks that have come forward and helped me along the journey, including some of the companies. And just to kind of give you some insight into how I got to the place I'm at, yes, I've worked with on a sponsorship level / consultant level / media level / business development level, which is the title I held at many brands, and continue to work with some of these brands, whether it was Inforce, Breakthrough, Troy, uh, God, Crossbreed Holsters. Um, I'm forgetting a million of them. Hazard 4, Vertex, Action Targets. You name the brand, I've worked with them on some level, and I'm not talking about guys. A lot of people, they get a free muzzle brake, and whether it's because they're a photographer or whatever they are. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually working with them on a level that I'm consulting with them on the products, the things they're releasing, and along the way dealt with a lot of people that maybe said I wasn't good enough to be doing that or whatever. The foundation that I built, and I like to think I was probably one of the first people to really publicize this or put this out there, was I had trained with, a whole slew of folks out there in the market. I had trained with multiple people, SMEs that I consider very bright people, and got myself a lot better at what I was doing, and continued to get myself better, continued to plow into new space, and trained with them and got to know not just the instructors, but the people behind the scenes really making the decisions, the people behind the accounts, the people in the marketing departments, in the business development offices, and forged a lot of really good friendships, and got a chance to rub elbows with a lot of great people. Make no mistake, and this is really important to me to get across to you guys in the first half hour that I do this. I am truly blessed to have had the opportunity to work with the people I've worked with. Truly blessed. I mean that with all my heart. I went after this career path wholeheartedly. I poured 110% into it. I was a huge fan of shooting sports and training in general. And when I started to pursue this, people told me I was absolutely crazy. I was out of my mind. I was nuts to leave a good career and to dive into something else. And, I thought, to be quite honest with you guys, I would have left finance doing what I was doing, became a cop, and that would have been the end of it. That's what I thought. But along the way, I got tapped on the shoulder to do a lot of different things, and a lot of people shared my vision and what I was explaining to folks that I thought was going on in the marketplace. And it started to make sense, and it started to make sense, and it started to make sense. And little by little, everybody was kind of saying, hey, there's something here. This has legs. So, everything was trial and error. Everything was trying something, failing, picking up the pieces, trying again, trying something, failing, picking up the pieces, and doing it again. And I just kind of lived by a simple philosophy that I've stated over and over again, which was expect nothing, blame no one, and do your job. So I never looked for a way to, or a way to put blame or to cast blame on anybody if I made a mistake or it didn't go right. It just made sense to me to live that way. And yeah, I mean, absolutely right. We got, Frank Smith here. It's great to see someone not listen to people's words and use it to fuel your passion. You deserve to be where you are. So that's kind of stems into where I'm going with this, Frank. So it's a good point. I tell people this all the time, and I say it with like a little bit of a grin. A lot of people say haters fuel me. I'm someone who kind of thrives on the hate. So when the hate comes, it's not that it just fuels me. I kind of thrive a little bit on the controversy and the drama, and I sit back and I kind of laugh because there's a lot that people don't know necessarily about me, and a lot of people just see what, they see the supplements or they see the stuff that they perceive that I get from the industry, the rewards of the industry, and they don't realize that that's 20 years of building towards this. So a good point was brought up to me by, I think it was Michael Hearn said it, or maybe Heath Evans. said it to me. He said, you know, people see you post an icon meal, and they don't realize that it took you 20 years to earn that icon meal. So nothing happens overnight. Nothing, you know, you get an optic from a company, or you sign an optics deal, or you sign a fitness deal, you know, like I did with Gasp clothing, and people think, oh, why him? The first reaction is, why him? And I will tell you this, as sure as the sun will rise, Frank, and I will tell this to every listener. You will have people in your life that will not want to see you succeed. Fact. And more often than not, it's going to end up being those closest to you. So you have to be prepared for that if you're going to step into putting yourself out there and putting things all on the line. So why do I do this, or why did I do this? So I will tell you this as the truest words you will ever hear. I have a belief in my soul that social media is a huge leveling ground. If you document your life, or you're documenting your journey, no matter what it is, you will find on the other end that you're not going to need a resume anymore, because it's all out there. You're putting it all out there. And if you put it all out there and your reputation precedes you, and you're doing it and you're documenting it, no one can argue with it. Whether that's who you've trained with, where you've trained, what you've done. Now, there's some things you will not see that I just don't put out there. Doesn't mean I'm not doing it. So, here we go. So, what's up, girl? I've never known a person to have so much passion in something as much as you do about this. For as long as I've known you, this is what you have always wanted. You're an inspiration. Love it. So that's a message from someone that has known me for a long time and understands, you know, kind of my thought process and has followed my journey. I mean, well, what's it been? I mean, we've probably known each other off and on for 20 years, but we were really close for a good window of time when I was going through this, and she's absolutely right. So you'll see old friends chime in with questions like that, or answers, or some piece, and that means a lot that you said that. So people who understand kind of where you were and where you've been. So growing up in Boston, growing up in East Boston, it's a real, you know, it's a rough town. It's not, you know, not quite like the movies, but, you know, you learned how to fight at a young age. You learned how to lose. You learned all those things. And you took it in stride. You know, it's just kind of one of those deals. So here's another one. John, you've had great advice to the community. Thanks for all the support and conversations. Yeah, and anyone who knows me, that's another thing, you know, about me. I'm more than willing to have a conversation. It doesn't matter the size of the business, small or large, because you never know where someone will end up. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that never would have thought I'd be the CEO of a company. And I know they still call even people I work with, and they're like, I can't believe he's in charge over there. And they don't understand. They talk about things they don't understand. And they talk about stuff they have no clue. They think I got put in charge of a company because, you know, I got lucky or I took the right pitcher. And that's not the case. They think I got a supplement deal because, you know, I don't know the reason actually for that one. My guess is as good as yours. So there's a lot of people who talk about things they don't understand. Here's what I challenge any of my friends with, or people that know me. And this will be something that I would ask all of you guys. And there's been some people, whether it's in this forum, whether it's guys like Frenny, Brody Olson, some people that have passed, well, you'll see pass in and out of the forum, that have known me and met me. If you've never met me, then you just don't know me. And I tell anybody that knows me, if somebody says something negative to you, whether it's about me or about something I do, ask them a simple question. Have you ever met him? Have you ever had a conversation with him? Well, if you haven't, then get the fuck away from me. And it's that simple. And that's how I feel about people. I don't take people's opinions or what they pass about someone based on shit they don't know what they're talking about. So, I think a lot of that goes on. I think the firearms business and the fitness business are very, are very interesting like that. Here's another one from Dr. D-Man70. John, you're a very great person. God has made you a strong motivator in life. I like to thank you for the motivation. Anytime. I mean, I don't look at myself as a motivator. I'm not one of those guys that like wants to put motivational speaking type stuff out there. I just try to put as real attachment of knowledge to things as possible. And if that motivates somebody along the way, then great. But all I can do is attach what's real. So when I do posts like my last post, which I know a lot of people saw, and a lot of people chimed in with a lot of heartfelt stuff, and that was on Instagram. I know it hit home for a lot of people because a lot of folks messaged me privately, and I will tell you this. If you're going to get ahead in life, you're going to leave people behind. You may not choose to, and some of them you will regret, but if you're going to get ahead, you're going to leave people behind. So you have to understand that when you take steps in life, you may go through a divorce, you may go through a change, you may go through a location change, but a lot of people are crippled by geography, finance, vision, and they lack a vision in life, and they end up being extremely unhappy because they go through the same routine expecting a different result and expecting the day to change and expecting something to change. When I wanted to play sports, I would have slept on the couch at the coach's office to make it happen. When I wanted to get into the firearms business, I did everything I could to get into the business any way that I could. So I tell everybody the same thing over and over again. Expect nothing, blame no one, and do your job. Don't sit back and wait for it to happen. Go out and make it happen. And that's a combination of things that all subject matter experts have told me, all experts in business and life, whether that was, through my journey in fitness, through my journey working as the CEO of Falcor and Dracos, being a business development officer for multiple brands, working on the inside. And I consider myself an inside guy. I would be bouncing around with Tony and with a lot of these guys, Real World Tactical and Branch and some dudes. And I consider myself an inside the industry guy, inside those industries. I didn't consider myself an outside player, and because outside players have a shelf life. And that shelf life will be very short, I promise you. It's not going to be a long shelf life, unless you're Mike O'Hearn. And God bless Mike. It's very hard to be a front face of a company or any companies if that's the route you're going. You can get into some very cool affiliate programs and work with a lot of brands on codes and things like that and make yourself great money over an extended period of time to supplement your income, whether you're a trainer or instructor. I've never fancied myself an instructor. It's not a way I've marketed myself. It's not a way I've lived. I've pretty much done things to continue to further my own knowledge and get better at certain things, and whether that was human interaction. And where I really thrive, and people don't realize this, Tony realized this early on, and so did Branch, is in the human interaction behind the scenes and kind of talking to the companies and talking to the people and talking to the folks that are really running things behind the scenes. And I've had a lot of people who run extremely high-profile accounts out there, whether it's in the firearms business or fitness business, and they don't make a penny. And they can't understand why, and they can't figure out why. And they've come to me kind of like, hey, I'm working with this brand, and I don't know what to do. And I had somebody say something very, very wise to me once. We were sitting having dinner. I forget which show I was at. What's up, Big J? I forget where I was, and they said, I made a decision one day to be a paid actor. And when I made that decision, it changed my life. I was working as an actor for free, and I finally made a decision I want to be a paid actor. Does that mean everybody can put their foot down and say, I want to be a paid supplement, ambassador, or I want to be a paid and just flip a switch? No. But it's a mindset. It's a mindset to set that goal and go right towards it. This is another good one. I need to ramp up business. I hit a wall just trying to keep the guys employed right now. Yeah, I mean, anytime you're at a wall, you're at a standstill, You have to forge forward, and you go through that at every company at every level. When rifle sales slow, I'm worried about everybody underneath us and everybody else. I mean, make no mistake, as it pertains to the firearms business, everybody wanted to see, this is going to sound bad, but true. I think you can see it in the marketing. A lot of people thought Hillary was going to get elected and they were going to sell a ton of rifles. And if any firearms company tells you otherwise, they're lying. That's what they thought. And they thought we'll sell a ton of ARs, but we'll have to get into other spaces because she's going to get elected and that's what's going to happen. Well, boom, Trump gets elected. And it slows down rifle sales. The best thing in the world that ever happened to rifle sales was Obama, because everybody was always in a panic mode and would buy. I'm here to tell you that that's just fact. That's just how it is. Does that mean it's a good thing? No, absolutely not. Because long term, she would have banned everything if she had it her way. So that goes without saying that long term it would not have been ideal. Oh yeah, they absolutely look like fools because of that. And you saw a lot of companies had a lot of failed marketing plans because of that. Whether it was you saw Springfield pump a lot of money into their Saint program. Which they made a bet, they made a gamble, and it was a bad beat. So I think everybody needs to take a moment and take a step back. Whether you're in this forum just to listen to me rant or talk about some bullshit, or you're in this forum to get some level of inspiration, or you're trying to be social media, Instagram, whatever it is. Take this and do what you want with it. Don't sit back and just kind of go through the motions. The bar gets raised every day because of technology and because of other things. I'm here doing podcasts and doing YouTube lives and doing anything I can get my hands on, testing things out, trying things, doing different things. And I'm going to get back on the range. I'm going to be headed to Tacoma to TriggerCon and being at a show, listening to folks. And then after I'm at that show, I'm going to be doing 5 days of training Leos down in Miami, helping Tony out, doing some demoing and stuff like that. 308, absolutely. Doing stuff like that. And I love this stuff because I love giving back to you guys and hearing the insight. This is how I get my feedback. So whether it's giving away an optic, whether it's giving away a prize or giving something away to someone, it helps me give you a piece of the industry that I love. And that's why, everybody runs around and says, I want to do a giveaway. When I do giveaways, I genuinely love sending that DM, talking to that person and giving them a little piece of the industry that they maybe don't have every day. Or maybe they're a construction worker. Maybe they're a guy who just ex-military that just, wants a piece of the industry or wants to be a part of it. But make no mistake, I do that with an open heart. I do it, very supportive of those that are willing to take the time to listen. I've been, like, as I said in the beginning, super blessed to be able to call some people my friends that I've looked up to and grown to appreciate through the years, whether that's, the Dom Rossos of the world, the Tony Sentmanots, the Branch Warrens, the Johnny Jacksons, to have some of these folks in my corner or in my Rolodex or whatever you want to call it, whatever you guys use it, be able to train with them, be able to hang out with them and spend some time and listen to them and learn has been tremendously helpful, tremendously. And all I can do is come back to you guys and, kind of give you guys some of the knowledge and some of the things that I've learned and not be too much of a talking head or someone who just kind of gets up here and spits all kinds of stuff. But you have to have a mindset, you have to have a strong will, and you have to have a desire. If you're going to make it in any industry on your own terms, you have to have a plan and you have to stick to it. And if you make a plan, there's going to be, especially in any industry, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell you can't. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell you you're going to fail. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, why are you doing this? So you have to understand that. And I will tell you, as sure as the sun will rise, if you're going to get ahead, as I said in the beginning, you're going to leave people behind, and you have to be prepared to do that. And if you have to be prepared to understand that it's a lot of work, especially on social media. Yes, Ray Cash Care in the house. So, another question. How the hell are people dropping out of this live feed? Too much info most people should not be missing. Frank, I think, everybody has attention deficit disorder. And I think people come into the lives and come out of the lives. And, when I sign off, my live's been stymied for a number of reasons I don't want to get into it, Instagram. But I appreciate you saying that. But I think the attention deficit disorder kicks in, or maybe people are somewhere where they can't, listen to the stuff. But they can go back and listen, because I tend to leave my lives up and allow people to go back later and listen. But I appreciate you saying that. And I'm trying to dispense as much knowledge as I can so people can ask any questions that they want. They can chime in with any questions that they may have. And I try to put as much out there as I can so people can say whatever it is they want to say. I really don't care. I don't really shy away from any topics. There's nothing that I've ever run from. So, feel free to fire away. And I'll give people as much knowledge as I can. But I will say this, and you can call it chest pounding. I like to think at my age and stage of the game, there's not a lot of guys that could have got to where I am, and I represent you guys. I mean, I may have gotten to a point that some people deem as success, but I fully believe in all my heart that I'm not done yet, that there's going to be more. The issue is, unless you have a T or an A on the camera, you are not doing a GAW. People lose interest. Social media is full of zombies. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. I think it's about the quality of content, too. I think if you're just a company that just is another company hawking, whether it's supplements or anything else, and you're not being dynamic and you're not forging into new paths and you're not putting new information out there. I really enjoyed and liked Blackstone Labs because they were very good at putting content out there and informing their customers. Like, I'll put it to you, what makes, so this is from an ammunition manufacturer, what makes your ammo better? And are you doing a good job putting that narrative out there? What makes your process better? Are you doing a good job putting that narrative out there? I don't know the answer to that, but those are questions, when you have your media meetings and you're talking to your team, you should be asking. Because what I always tell my guys in Falcor, and I tell every company, when they want to say, hey, we should really sponsor this person. They have TNA, like you're saying. They look good. You know what I say? Stop showing me the old Google. Show me a new Google. Stop showing me old ways of investing our money. Show me new ones. Stop coming to me with the same shit. And that was part of the reason why I looked at the fitness community. I looked at the bodybuilding community. I looked at the fishing community. I looked at all these different communities. My thought process was, love it or hate it. So, that's a good philosophy. I mean, if that's how you want to run your business, that's how you run your business. Who am I or anyone to tell you how to do it? But these are questions you should be asking behind closed doors, almost regardless, because you want to improve your process in anything that you do. Because I constantly want to improve our process in the firearms game, and I constantly want to improve our process, my process when I'm doing media. So that's why I get up here and I do these things, and I take it right to you guys. If you have questions or you have stuff you want to ask, or you want to wonder how or who, or who the hell is this guy and why is he here? So I think, whether you ask them, and that's a good point, whether you ask them in the front of the house or behind the scenes, you have to ask them. So a lot of people don't want to, put their financials out there or put themselves out there, but you have to kind of ask these questions of your team and of the people around you, and we go through this when we talk about people in our circle. Are we getting better by putting this person in our circle? Does this person make us better? Does this person make our team better? Does this person, what does this do for us? So, I put it to you guys all the time. Don't hesitate to ask the questions. Don't hesitate to fire away. This is the forum to do it. I can't do it over DM anymore. I can't do it in other avenues. I have to kind of get it all out there and let you guys decide if it's good for you or not. You know, if it's not, then leave it. If it helps your business or it helps you, then use it. You know, take it to your meetings, take it to your team. But all I can do is give you a little insight into my thought process, tell you a little bit about my story, leave it to you guys to fill in the blanks through your questions, and because I don't know what you want to hear. You want to hear how much I lifted today, or do you want to hear what I ate today, or you know, what is it you want to hear, and where do you go from here? Yeah, I mean, good or bad. I mean, I think you have to be willing to hear the bad. So I'm fighting allergies, so I apologize if I'm a little congested. I'm fighting off some allergies, so I'm working on it. But I am traveling quite a bit coming up. I got a lot of travel dates. I'm going to do my best to continue to roll these out. And as you guys have more questions and you have more insights you want to see, save them for the lives, and let's keep putting them out there and keep putting them up there. And I'll gladly confront any topic you want to confront. I'll talk about whatever it is you guys want to talk about. If you think this is a good thing, you know, there's no bigger endorsement you guys can give me than going on, hitting like and subscribe on my YouTube, tapping that little bell so you get notifications when I do this. I'm probably not always going to do it on IG. It would be great if I could. I can't always. It would be great if you could, you know, track me on Facebook, track me on YouTube, track everything that I'm putting out there. And if you have questions, chime in. Schedule of events coming up. I am in Tacoma, Washington for TriggerCon. TriggerCon is an event that is hosted by Rainier Arms. So Rainier Arms is a distributor located in the Rainier Mountain region of Washington. It's a fun little event that is, I believe, the 26th. And I leave next Thursday, I believe, and I am there until Monday. I will have Shooting USA at our booth. We will be giving away prizes. Falcor has a full booth. Good time, a lot of fun. Come down, see us, come say hi. I will be in Miami at Pop's Gun Club with Real World Tactical, doing not just a demo, but a full law enforcement training, helping Tony out on the range, doing some RSO and doing a little bit of support with some great guys down there, some people I'm really good friends with and I love spending some time with. I think Jesse Menacall from Menacall Training will be there. There'll be some great folks hanging out, having a blast. We'll be working with 25 law enforcement officers in a free class that Tony puts on. Another thing that Tony doesn't really publicize or put out there, or you know, you see him post it, but he's not looking for a huge pat on the back with that. It's just something he does. I will be after that, I will hopefully be at Destination Open House in Dallas, Texas. That is a GASP posted event. As many of you know, I've worked with GASP a long time. I love them. And I will be, after that, trying to think, there's Live Free or Die. There's Olympia coming up. There's a couple of conflicts there with dates. I'm trying to figure out what makes sense. Along the way, recording podcasts. I have Suresh from 221B Tactical coming into town Tuesday. And there it is. Falcor going to get into body armor? No, probably absolutely not. We're not a big soft goods company. Any plans with Clint? You're referring to Clint Hansen or Clint Walker? Clint Walker is no longer with Falcor, so I wish Clint the best. I hope he does well. Clint Hansen, yes, his barrel is featured on our new standard rifle. Clint is an awesome dude. I love working with Clint Hansen. He has done great things over there at Ballistic Advantage, and I love what he continues to do. He is a good friend, and he is an awesome leader at his company, and he done a great job building out that brand. I think they do great things. So I'm not sure, Caldy, what Clint you were referring to, but that answers the two Clints. Maybe it's somebody else. Hopefully that answers it. But yeah, so hopefully you guys like this forum. Hopefully you guys like this setup, and I really hope that you get into Blackstone, use my code. I post the codes under my Instagram. You can see in the highlights. If you want to use any codes for Icon Meals, anything like that, everything that I post I genuinely believe in and I use. So if you follow along with my stories, you can see all those things. But I will be on, to add another thing to the schedule, I will be on the Men of War podcast. That is next Friday. The Men of War podcast, 2 from Ronin Tactics has been on. Ray Cashcare has been on. Tony's been on. There's quite a few guys that have been on that podcast. Good little podcast. Looking forward to that. And I will be recording a lot of podcast content coming up with Falcor and our new Behind the Flame podcast coming up. So hopefully I answered a lot of you guys' questions. I think it's been about 45 minutes I've been on. Hopefully, you guys get something out of this as I continue to go forward with it and do more. But there's no greater compliment than going in and liking and subscribing, whether that's on YouTube, but also taking the time to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Leave me some stars, whatever. Tap some hearts, all that happy stuff. It only increases my desire to kind of give you guys more of this if you think it's valuable. If you don't think it's valuable, I'll scrap it and do something else gladly. But if you think there's some value there and you think that it's helpful, I'd love to see you guys in these forums and in these things supporting and liking and subscribing. So thank you. If there's no other questions and nobody has anything else, I'm going to, on YouTube, at least for the time being, cut to the promos here. So hopefully this makes some sense and you guys can have a good day and go about your business. But thank you very much. Till you shot some shit. We're going to shoot some action targets, we're going to have some fun, everybody's going to be smiling, having a good time, because what better than shooting guns in America? This is the greatest sport there is.